This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
On the news this morning, Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum says 10% of Borno citizens unaccounted for following terror attacks. New acting chairman of PDP emerges as more reasons for court sacking of Uche Secondus surfaces. Family of final year RISU student shot dead last Thursday says gun found on him was planted. On the foreign scene, US on track to leave Afghanistan on August 31. I am Ifiemi Andrew. More stories have emerged as to why the position of Uche Secondus as PDP national chairman was challenged in court. Our correspondent gathered that it followed the alleged cancellation of the party's convention slated for October during the party's national executive meeting last week. The aggrieved party members in the state saw it as a violation of the agreement reached with the PDP governors and stakeholders. They were worried that the cancellation could affect the party's chances during the 2023 general elections. It was also gathered that Mr. Secondus was suspended from the party in his ward on August 8 based on anti-party activities and as such cannot function as the party's national chairman. They say his suspension is not connected with the issues at the national level of the party. In the meantime, the PDP Deputy National Chairman South Yemi Akinwumi on Tuesday assumed the position of the acting national chairman of the party. Akinwumi made the announcement citing Section 35B of the party's constitution to support his action. He also suspended the activities of the National Working Committee of the party.
Our attention has been drawn to yesterday evening court order, which purportedly restrained our national chairman, Prince Uche Secondus, from ceremony presiding over meetings of the national organ of the party. It's not more making. In the foregoing circumstance, as the Deputy National Chairman South, after due consultation and in the exercise of aforesaid power, hereby deeming fit and proper to postpone the National Working Committee meeting earlier scheduled for today till further notice to allow broader consultation in overall interest of our party.
The special advisor to the PDP acting chairman Anthony Agbetuji told our correspondent Abayomi Akimbola that his principal acted in accordance with the party's constitution.
He is now the acting national chairman of the party. By hierarchy, he is the next to the national chairman. And when issue came up from Rivers State yesterday, he has to take charge.
Akinwumi took over following the restraining order issued by a high court in Port Harcourt on Monday against the national chairman, Uche Secondus. Still on this, the PDP Vice Chairman, Rivers West Senatorial District, Robinson Elwa, has called on Prince Uche Secondus to obey the court order stopping him from being chair of the party. In an interview with our correspondent, Mr. Elwa wondered why the PDP is yet to hold its NEC meeting. He also said the judgment on Uche Secondus will not affect the party.
I don't think it will affect the fortunes of the party. PDP Secondus is a single man as the national chairman. We have a whole lot of membership of the NWC. We have the deputy national chairman. We have a zonal chairman. We have secretary. We have other officers of the party. And the constitution provides that in the absence of the deputy national chairman should take state. The deputy national chairman had to act until such a time that NWC is elected.
On his part, former Speaker Bayelsa State House of Assembly Tony Esena called for an out-of-court settlement of the party's internal crisis.
Let us look at the Nigerian interest, the party interest. We are not in power, we are a opposition party. Here I expect that we give a viable opposition. But I think it is an in-house matter. It's between two brothers. And so the brothers will look at the general interest. What is it lingers alone? So for me, settle this out of court. But let's go our and prepare ourselves for the next election. We can't go this way if I don't have the capacity to stop what is happening. So it's only me. We are going to, plead with them. Let them look at, the party. Let them look at, the Nigeria.
The Rivers State Commissioner for Information, Pauline Nserim, has called on those yet to be vaccinated against COVID in the state to do so. Mr. Nserim made the call in an interview with correspondent Choma Ezenwafo.
Rivers people should please maintain all COVID-19 protocols to protect themselves from the virus. And those who have not gotten vaccination should please get vaccinated. It's important that we all get vaccinated. So we should go to the various centers that have been advertised to get vaccinated.
As you may know, the second phase of vaccination against COVID-19 has resumed at the local government areas. Nigeria recorded 655 new cases of COVID yesterday. Lagos had the highest number with 288. Rivers followed with 188 cases. Moving on, the security expert Ifiemi says the attack on the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna calls to question the statement credited to the military that the Boko Haram insurgents have surrendered. Mr. Wanogo spoke to correspondent Emeka Otuka.
This clearly tells you that the whole martyr and publicized surrender is a mirage. Something is amiss. It speaks to the fact that the people you think have been thoroughly decimated are still fully on ground, and they have very unsalvable, very negative and heavy plans against the institution called Nigeria. To have the means and the resources to stage an attack on an institution such as the Nigerian Defense Academy speaks volumes. You know, a few days ago it was all over the news that people are now trying to leave criminality, leave Boko Haram, and they're living in hundreds. Clearly what this shows you, there is something else that could be a ploy to put everybody in a mode where you think everything is okay, and then they hit back.
Mr. Wanogo also called on the security agencies not to rest on their oars until Boko Haram insurgents are wiped out.
It's a wake-up call to everybody. Boko Haram is still very much around. The government of the day, the security agencies must wake up. The whole issue where you start trying to force somebody to take an amnesty from a position of weakness from you is nonsense. You must crush Boko Haram. And I dare say, the whole issue of describing people as bandits and not as Boko Haram, I think is nonsense. They are one and the same group, just a function of where they operate. So the government and the security agencies must have to step up. This is no longer time for them to be playing to the gallery. It's no longer time to be trying to beautify issues. All hands must be on the deck, as it said. We cannot continue in this manner. Something has to happen. And I dare say everybody would have to now pay more attention to the so-called repentant Boko Haram.
The two soldiers were killed and another abducted by a terrorist attack on the Defense Academy in the early hours of Tuesday. In another development, Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum says his administration cannot account for 10% of Borno citizens following terror activities in the northeast region. Governor Zulum gave the statistics after a private meeting with President Buhari in Abuja.
I'm in this business for the last 11, 12 years. I was attacked from more than 40, 50 times. I know the magnitude of this problem. More than 100,000 people were killed. More than 100,000 orphans we have now. More than 100,000 widows we have now. And therefore, I'm in total support of this ongoing surrender by the insurgents. We'll support them. And those that have surrendered shall be dealt according to the extant rules and regulations. There is no any law that's clearly stipulated that they should be killed. But we have to be very careful in managing this crisis. Government of Borno State is never contemplating of giving a dime for those insurgents in the bush to surrender.
Professor Zulum said he was at the villa to brief the president on the surrendering of terrorists, among other issues.
Thousands of lives were lost. People have completely lost their means of livelihood. We harvested a total number of over 50,000 orphans and widows. These are official figures. The unofficial figures are more than this. This is a very serious matter, and I think the report of the surrendering of the insurgents, to me in particular, and to the greater people of Borno State, is a very welcome development. Unless we want to continue with an endless war, I see no reason why we shall reject those that are willing to surrender. I came to bring Mr. President on this matter, and Mr. President has given my humble salute and the people of Borno State the assurances of his continued support in this direction.
The family of a 59-year-old man, Toka Gilbert, who was kidnapped and murdered at Betem in Kanalego government area of Rivers State, has raised an alarm over attempts by some individuals they describe as powerful to release some suspects in police custody. Our correspondent gathered that the kidnappers killed the man after collecting 50,000 naira ransom from the family. Days later, his corpse was found in a river in the community. 3 persons were arrested in connection with the crime by the anti-kidnapping unit of Rivers State Police Command, and 1 has confessed to the crime. The only daughter of the victim, Rebecca Henry, spoke to newsmen.
The matter was reported to Anti-Kidnapping Minokoro Port Harcourt, Rivers State, and this suspect has been confessed who asked them to go and kill my dad, though they've been doing their work. But later on, the suspects say that they want to transfer the matter to Zone 16 in Bayelsa. The CP should act on this matter. They want to lie it under the carpet, which I don't want. They should charge this suspect to court. My father was not sick. He was just being kidnapped and murdered. A healthy man. Please, sir, I want you people to do something about it so that justice will be prevailed.
She called on the Commissioner of Police Friday Ebuka to prove to the public that he stands for justice.
I want the CP to intervene, and I also want the commander in anti-kidnapping to do something about it. And I'm also calling upon the CP. Please, sir, I want you to act capably on this matter, to show your justice in this matter. Because these people, if we release them and they will still go ahead and kill more, please, sir, do something about this case. I know that you can do it perfectly, and I know that you've been doing this kind of work, sir. Please, they have not done anything about it, and they want to close this case. Sir, please, act for justice on this case, sir.
Rivers State Police Command has confirmed that there was a cult clash in Kanaleko government area of the state. It recalls that a native of Konoboye on Monday said at least 7 persons were killed by gunmen in different parts of 3 different communities in Kanaleko government area. But in a statement, the police PRO Namdi Omoni said it was 3 persons that were killed. SP Omoni gave the names of the victims as Namene Kialede from Louis Mwaka Ikara and Kinsley Bone. He said no arrest has been made, but efforts are on to get the perpetrators. The statement further added that the kidnapped victim, Eyinda Lawson Endu, was rescued in the Konoboy forest by the police team that chased after the criminals suspected to have carried out the killings. It said Mr. Endu was kidnapped on the 19th of August at the Elelewa axis of Port Harcourt. The statement said the Commissioner of Police in the state has ordered full-scale investigation into the incident. Josephine Amechi, the mother of 20-year-old final year student of River State University, Uzondu Chimena, who was shot and killed by another student, says the gun which the police said was found on her son was planted on him. A very distraught Mrs. Amechi told correspondent Martha Okere that she wants the police to tell the truth about how the gun found its way into the public area, into the private area of her late son.
Somebody that is dead, they are carrying him up and down. If there is gun in his neck, the gun will come out. Somebody might have seen the gun. It's after some minutes they said they drove to Mbolu police station. They said, okay, the brothers are here, let's search him. They remove the shoe, they remove his stockings. As police remove the bed, hey, look at gun, there's gun in his neck. At that point, nobody wants to know that. The only thing I'm saying is with gun, he's a 40s. That's why they shoot that shot by as if it's a foul. I'm saying that it's not my son that put that gun in his neck. Whosoever that put that gun, is God that to judge him. Oh God!
Mrs. Amechi also questioned why the police are not asking the suspect accused of killing her son what his motive was.
He brought the papers, was showing us that the boy that killed my son is here giving them information that my son is a courtist, that they belong to this court, he belongs to this court. They brought out the picture, that this is the gun they saw in his knicker. They did not even say, okay, why did this boy kill him? What happened that this boy shot this boy? Nobody wants to say anything about it. They only say this boy shot. See how wicked he shot my son. Direct range, shot my son. Let them say the truth.
Also speaking, Chuke Bukauzondu said the IPA in charge of the case at the state CID told the family that the gun and bullets found on his late brother belongs to the police. He insisted that his late brother does not have the disposition of a cultist.
He showed us evidence, bringing out the guns and the pictures of the guns. We tried to make argument about that gun issue. He started raking again, telling us that the gun and the bullet belongs to police. How did my brother? I told him no. The man never agreed. He said that he's getting his part from what the police themselves gave. He wasn't there. If you see someone who can do something like this or who is into something like this, you will know. If such character was in him, I would have known. But he's not that kind of person.
Recall that the River State Police Command said it found a pistol in the pubic area of the dead student after he was searched before he was taken to the mortuary. Spokesman of the command, Namdi Omoni, confirmed this in his statement. In the meantime, the Rivers State University has expelled Swanu Wisdom Mwiara, who shot a final year student of the university last week Thursday. Spokesperson of the university, Harcourt White, said Wisdom, a 300-level student of banking and finance in the Faculty of Management Sciences, was expelled for gross misconduct and killing of fellow student Zondu Chimena, a 400-level student of the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Faculty of Engineering. Earlier, Dr. Harcourt White told our correspondent that the school has stepped up security measures and sensitization campaigns to ensure that such incidents don't happen again.
The police had said that they found gun on the dead boy and all of that. I don't know how that happened, but we run a lot of campaigns against cultism. Even students themselves run those campaigns too on their own. But the university runs campaigns against cultism. If you go around, you see a lot of places, no parking. We're trying to stop people from just driving in here and then stay somewhere. So we're monitoring a lot of that and make sure that we don't have people infiltrating into the system and then taking advantage of it.
Earlier, meanwhile, civil society person Solomon Lenu said families are not doing enough to raise children with high moral values. Mr. Lenu was reacting to last Thursday's shooting death of a final year student at the Rivers State University.
Nobody should be held responsible for the action of another adult. Even the children of the highly placed are also deviating, and it now puts a responsibility on the others, to try and do their best in raising the kids. Because we are talking about the corruption and all of the problems that we have today in Nigeria. We got it wrong from our families. The families are not doing enough, to actually raise highly cerebral children and people who will keep to the norm. The family has actually failed in child upbringing, and that's why you have some of the things that we are fighting with today in the society.
Still ahead, management of Ignatius Ajuru University of Education suspend lecturer Samuel Abiye of Department of Curriculum Studies for 3 months. Stay tuned. The management of Ignatius Ajuru University of Education has suspended the lecturer Samuel Abiye of the Department of Curriculum Studies for 3 months and put on half salary on allegation of sex for grade, according to the statement released by the Vice Chancellor, Professor Olzo Mekukuri Ndemele, on his Facebook page. Dr. Abiye was recorded by a female student who he promised to help to pass his course and all other courses taught by other lecturers in their department in exchange for sex. It was added that the lecturer directed the student to meet him at a hotel at Eagle Cement area of Rumulumeni to carry out the act. The statement added that management has, in the interim, directed that all courses taught by Dr. Abiye for the first semester of 2020-2021 be regraded through conference marking to be supervised by the Dean of Education. His courses and students he supervises have been reassigned to other lecturers. The matter has been referred to the University Staff Disciplinary Committee for further investigation. On the foreign scene, U.S. President Joe Biden says the U.S. is on track to meet a 31st August deadline for evacuations despite previous calls from allies for an extension. He said the sooner we finish, the better. Mr. Biden said the airlift had to come to an end soon because of an increasing threat from the Islamic State group in Afghanistan. The militants have opposed any extension to the evacuation deadline. On the news this morning, you heard that Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum says 10% of Borno citizens are unaccounted for following terror attacks. A new acting chairman of PDP has emerged as more reasons for court sacking of Uche Secondus surfaces. Family of final year RISU student shot dead last Thursday has said that the gun found on him was planted. The Rivers State government has called residents of the state to get vaccinated. On the foreign scene, U.S. President Joe Biden says the U.S. is on track to meet a 31st August deadline for evacuations from Afghanistan. The news was edited by Noho Ogweviri. Contact our newsroom on 0818-900-0017. For more stories, visit our website at www.nigeriainfo.fm. Rainfalls continue in Port Harcourt this morning. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. Good morning and thank you for listening.